Disrespect is real. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers podcast, live from the Xfinity Lounge, where our show is also presented by Rothman Orthopedics. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY. And Ford, how many years, Kyle?
48.
Visit your local Ford store. That 48 is one off of where the ESPN NBA experts rank Joel Embiid in their top 100. They have 3 players on the top 100 list. We'll go through them and see.
A lot of Joel talk today on social media and elsewhere. So
we'll see if where is this the right spot for him, and the other 2 will let you know where they are, who's around them, and maybe Kyle will tell you round out the top 10 before they drop it at some time tomorrow. So we'll get into all of that. We also have to get into, yes, they finally did it. They dropped the jerseys. The Sixers did. And they've had Twitter just buzzing.
And they didn't screw it up.
Buzzing since like 7 a.m. this morning. We'll get into that. And we need darkness today because when we talk about our news and notes.
I don't know if I can yell like that today.
With the news and notes, we need the darkness today. We'll get into it all. Derek, Kyle, I'm Devon Bree, producing, as always, the president of basketball operations. Good to see all of you on this Wednesday. Let's get to the top 100 because for the Philadelphia 76ers, let's just start off with the guy that we're going to begin with first, and that is Joel Embiid. On this list, Joel Embiid, Kyle, is listed at number 47 out of 100. So he at least made day 2 of this drop of the top 100 as they ran it out there. He made the top 100, and where is he? 47. He's in good company with number 48 being right there. Right there. He's in good company right there at number 48. Outside of that, is he being disrespected a little bit? Or do they have it just right because of the unknown?
Well, obviously, a lot of this comes down to this is a big old shrug of the shoulders from ESPN, right? And they were very high on him going into last year, right? I believe they placed him, 8th? Top 10 at the very least. Yeah, he was 8th last year. And their initial explanation is, it is almost impossible to rank Embiid after the former MVP played just 19 games last season. And yes, I get it. That makes sense. I hear you. I sit here every day and talk about you can't necessarily rely on Joel. You can't think about your joy for the season because of Joel, right? We go through 800 different versions of the same thing, which is his knee has had all kinds of problems. He's got to get there physically. He's got to get there mentally. There are all these caveats. But then you scroll down the list and you're like, dude, OG Anunoby, I'm not trying to pick on him specifically. Very good player, very good defender, but it's what? At best, the 3rd best player on that Knicks team, right? Jared Allen, who very good player on the best regular season team in the East last year, but is someone that Joel has thrown in a trash compactor 15 different times in their careers. And I know that this is predicting the future, not evaluating everything that happened in the past. The best example of that was Scotty Barnes' write-up in this series, which I encourage a lot of you to go and read this one specifically, but I'll read it myself. Scotty Barnes was placed at 30. Last year's rank was 35. And within the write-up for Scotty Barnes, it says, Barnes took a step back last season and he jumped 5 spots, right? So some of this is just they want to generate discussion like we're having here. Some of it is trying to look forward. But in any sort of reasonable year for Joel,
yes,
he will be better than the 47th best player. How high can he realistically get? That's a fair conversation to have. If he only plays 19 and really 17 games, right, because he got thrown out of a game and he was injured and left a game last year. If he only plays 17 full games, he's not approaching 100 on the list, let alone 47, right? But I think if you're going to even include him, I do think you have to
show some
stand
respect
there and puff your chest out a little bit and say, I think he's going to be, if it's 15, if it's 10, we'll get to the top 10 later. A lot of guys who are just expected to be great year in and year out. So don't need to complain about them. But 47 just feels wild. And it does sum up just how far he has fallen in terms of the public respect rankings out there.
I just real fast, Derek. Dave P says with his health, 47 sounds right. Theo, 47 is insane disrespect. So this is where we are with it because no one knows. And the 47 of the disrespect that's just a reputation thing of, hey, man, if you're going to have Scotty Barnes, who did play, but you bump him up from 35 to 30 and say he didn't have a good season, should Joel still at least be in that conversation a little bit higher than where he is right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, and look, we've mentioned this before, like any kind of predictions, any kind of rankings at this point, like we're blind monkeys throwing darts. We have no freaking idea with this team, and certainly not with that player because he is what drives this team. It does feel like, it's like basically they're saying, okay, he's going to be a top, we'll call it top 15, top 20 player because that's like the floor. Even a compromised version of Joel Embiid that we saw last year, when he was on the floor, he was a top 20 player. Maybe not top 5 like he was the 3 years before that. Maybe not even top 10 because of the way his defense took a step back, but he was still clearly like top 15, top 20. So that's them saying like, all right, we think he's going to be like a top 15 player when he plays, but he might only play 40 games. How do we rank that? It's like an impossible ranking. And this is what they come up with. And so if you're saying like, is he a top 47 player? No, he's much better than that. It's just you have no idea if he's going to give you top 47 value because you don't know how much he's going to be on the floor. So I think if you were ranking players, then I think this would be disrespectful. But if you were saying like, what's the expected value of this player, this might be more in line. Now, obviously, like top 100 expected value for the 2025-26 season doesn't have a great name for it, so we sort of go with the top player rankings. But I have no idea.
There is zero chance I would read, listen to, or think about anything that was the expected value rankings for next season. That's like the lamest sounding thing I think I've ever heard.
Which was the point of bringing it up. But like, nobody has any idea what to do with this guy. Like I said, I think he's going to be significantly better than that when he's on the floor. We just have no idea if that's going to be for, like Kyle said, if that's 20 games, might not be a top 100 player. If that's 40 games, maybe that's a top 50 player. If that's 60 games and you're talking about a top 20 player, who knows?
Bree, put a star on that 48, by the way. That's a pretty good player. But with that, and this is exactly
the Knicks
why
propaganda happening in here.
This is exactly why when we talk about the season in general, well, we have no idea as to what our predictions are going to be of where they're going to finish. Are they going to finish top 4, top 6, top 8, top 10? Where are they going to be? And partly it's because of the fact that we have no clue as to which player he's going to be. Now, it's encouraging that last night we get videos, again, of him being on the floor and doing stuff, making a nice pass to Tyrese Maxey, which looked like it was at the very least, it looked like it was a 3-on-3, but it was maybe a 5-on-5. Who knows? Because we only get a snippet of what the video is and him just making a really good bounce pass, cutting Tyrese Maxey, and he finishes at the rim with a left-handed dunk. Now, if that's the guy and we see these photos and he's really thin up top, smaller than what he has been in the past, and that's not putting as much pressure on his knees, then maybe you are talking about a guy who's back in that top 25, top 15 for what he does. But for the 47 to drop, and I saw someone put that, hey, man, at least put him in, as Bree shows the clip from the Sixers Twitter account, at least put him in the top 25 out of respect for who he is as a basketball player and for what he did in that short time that he was on the floor last year, where he still looked like he could be a top 25 player if he was able to and remain on that floor. Other than that, we don't know. So it's kind of fair for them to put him wherever they wanted to, kind of right there in that middle of what the 47 is disrespectful and the 47 is just about right in that 50.
I know we've been laughing about, we're analyzing 5 and 6 second Twitter clips.
I'm surprised we haven't had a show based around the one we just showed, by the way.
Tomorrow.
But, that'll be tomorrow's show.
Tomorrow.
But I do think like something important that you see there that we hadn't been able to tell previously. Those are basketball whatever it is. To your point, Devon, it could be 3v3. It could just be a drill. It could be 5-on-5. We don't actually know. What it does show is it's something other than a shooting drill, right? That's not just Joel form shooting, stand still at the elbow. going through an individual workout. That's him working out with teammates, right? And most of the preseasons in recent memory, certainly last year, right? It was a lot of just like, you get into the gym and you're waiting for the update from PR and the team, and it's Joel did individualized work today, right? Which is a nice way of saying he was over on another court while the rest of the guys scrimmaged and did other stuff. And if nothing else, this doesn't mean anything for what he's going to look like in December and February and April and whatever, any other time than now. But it shows that where he is now is ahead of where we saw that he was last season at this time, last season during the preseason, that the summer of rehab and work and diet and everything else he was doing has put him in a pretty good position going into camp, going into media day, going into the preseason part of the schedule, right? And if that's the case, the hope would be, because all of last season's hope was built on the idea, hey, if he's out there regularly, the knee toughens up, the area strengthens, it compensates for the lack of meniscus in there, and eventually there's less pain, less swelling, less this, less that. Well, he's out there and he's playing and practicing regularly already in mid to late September. That puts him in a better position for a month from now, 2 months from now. Hey, my knee has adjusted. My knee has gotten better. The surgery was helpful, and it's a snowball rolling down the hill in a good way. And so the hope will be that what we're seeing right now is not just good because it shows us right now he's in, good spirits and out on the floor. It hopefully is a nice omen for what's to come in the months down the road.
So I'm going full Zapruder film on this one as I'm watching it,
of course,
because it's 5-on-5. As I watch the clip and I see players,
there is at least a third
through.
guy in a blue jersey. You can see Jared McCain, I believe, in the back at some point.
Yes, absolutely. So I see Broom, I saw someone else, and I saw 4 white jerseys. So that's where I went with the 5-on-5. But as I'm watching it, he's on the move on that pass. You can see he's stepping into it. So with him stepping into it, yes, he's right foot first, bounce pass to Tyrese Maxey. But as you see him with the initial, it's on the move with the left leg is his troublesome leg that he has the problem with that knee. That's the plant knee. That's the plant one first to make that extra step with the right, pivot to push it and have that play executed right there. So when you talk about, we don't know. But this is the most we've seen outside of that hang dribble jump shot that we saw the very first time that, as Derek said it rightly, we did a show in a 5-second clip. And it was pretty damn good, by the way. This is the most, and it looks like it's in like real action, real 5-on-5 opportunity. I don't know how he looks running up the floor. I don't know any of that. But for this particular clip, he had to pivot. He had to also step into that particular play to make that pass to Tyrese Maxey. And I don't know if there's a brace on. I don't know if there's a sleeve on. We'll find all that out once he's out there in practice, and maybe we'll see that this weekend with their practices in Camden. But for right there, Derek, I mean, just going, again, through the film of what we have, he's doing way more than we've seen.
And again,
and let's not forget this too. Before we got that first video, all we kept talking about, and none of you were wrong, none of us were wrong, because we don't know. None of us were speculating that he did or didn't. We just didn't know. We didn't see anything until we got that first glimpse. Now we have a few videos, this being the last one, of what it looks like. And even in the video for the team showing off the 2000-2001 retro jerseys, he's doing some dribbling, and Brio showed the video a little bit later, but he's doing some of that too. And we don't know when that was filmed. We don't know when that happened. That had to be ready for this morning's drop. But sorry, Derek, to cut you off, but that was, we have no idea, but we're seeing just gradual things as we lead up to what media day will look like, and then training camp starts practice-wise on Saturday.
Yeah, and again, I think my main takeaway from this video, which again, we're going to talk about a 5-second video.
Let's go!
It's the same one from the last one. It's just the fact that it's a positive sign that they're putting it out there at all. Because if this was a player, he missed the first, 12 games last year? Now, some of them were a suspension at the end because of the whole incident and whatnot. But he didn't play for quite a while. No training camp, no preseason, no first 12 games of the regular season. If they felt like that was a likely outcome, that he wouldn't be ready, I don't think they would be posting these clips. Now, they didn't have a great sense of when he would be ready last year, so maybe they just don't know, but I think it's generally a positive sign that they're willing to post these videos and get fans' hopes up and expectations up, because it indicates that they at least have, they're a little bit positive about the direction he's going and his chance to be ready.
Because every person to a man on Friday will be asked about him.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to ask about these clips that we've seen, and they're going to be asked about what they have seen. I'm sure they'll be prepared for what they will be asked about. But that being said, everyone's going to have to answer a question about
And
Joel.
we've covered this team collectively for a long time at this point, right?
We don't need to go into details on exactly how long that is.
Most of Joel's
I'm proud of that, man.
Most of Joel's time here, and I think this has been fair criticism at times, when we get to this point of the year, even when he's been healthy, you'll start seeing the guys in the gym footage, and people will be like, where the hell's Joel, right? And like pointing the finger, like, why isn't he in the gym with the young guys and these other guys, right? And so with that as the backdrop, and that as our collective experience that we've had, covering him, following him on the fan side, cheering for him. Yes, it's a small thing. Yes, it's insane that we have to hyperanalyze these little, like you said, like the Zapruder film, right? But we have all that context. We have the last 10 years of what we've seen and what is normally happening around this time of year. So it's a positive. It might just be a small one. It might not be that meaningful in the grand scheme of things, but if you're looking for reasons that 47 is going to be particularly disrespectful in this NBA rank ordeal, this is just one piece of the puzzle.
Yes, it is.
No, I just think, again, we've mentioned this with prior ranks, but like this is one where they're going to be way wrong in either direction. It feels like either he's not going to be healthy and 47 is too high, or he's going to be healthy and that's the most disrespectful.
I can't see a world where that's where he ends up, right? Is 40 to 50 range. It's either he's wiped off the board entirely or he's back. I can't. It's hard to even wrap your mind around a world where Joel. So what would that even look like?
It's like sub all-star.
It's like he plays 55 games and averages like 20 and 10.
Even that I think would probably be better than 47. Like I was thinking 40 games and like 24 and 10.
Yeah, but I think at that point he's probably pushed behind some of these. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say.
I don't know. And if he plays enough, plays well enough, plays early enough before the All-Star, who knows how that is going to go, especially with the voting and all. No Tatum in the front court, all of that stuff, and what it might look like altogether. All right, 2 more Sixers are on this ESPN Top 100 list ahead of the NBA season. We're going to tell you who those are. Talk about those two when we get back. Joel Embiid, 47. Is he disrespected? What about these other two? We'll talk about it right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast.
Guys, we've all been there. We've gone to somebody else's house for a big game. Get there, you got your food ready, you're all pumped up, but their setup's a mess. Lagging, buffering, just not fun at all. Great way to kill a good time. Because if you call yourself a sports fan, you have to have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place, and the way that you watch, it's next level. I've got all the action right in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. It's so clear that it feels like you're in the arena. On top of that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
Guys, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, the Ford Explorer is America's all-time best-selling SUV that brings a legacy of family trust and performance. I think you guys might want to check it out, right? Maybe you need space. It offers up to 3-row seating for 7 passengers. Great for families and road trips. You could get it in rear-wheel drive. You could get intelligent 4-wheel drive. 3 different powertrain options, right? Including a hybrid model, which offers up to 500 miles of driving range. So you get the power you want, but you also get that great fuel economy because we're always looking at the prices on the gas, right? The inside, wonderful though. You get Ford Copilot 360, tons of advanced driver assist features, the infotainment system, the terrain management system, so you can go through different drive modes, snow, sand, tow, haul, whether you're with the kids, whether you're doing a job. taking your friends and family somewhere, you know you'll get to the right place with all your stuff because, by the way, offers up to 87.8 cubic feet of cargo space once you fold those rear seats down. All that space for activities. It's built for families, but ready for adventure. It's a do-it-all SUV. For more information, just visit your local Ford store.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Ford and, of course, Rothman Orthopedics. It's the month of giving, everybody. BBBS, the big brothers, big sisters. We're back this week once again with a focus on becoming a big. If you could, make sure you go sign up at bbbs.org to become a big. Also taking donations if you could, if you're feeling generous. We are at September 24th, and we're still trying to reach our goals. So if you can help out in any way, it will be much appreciated. So just go to bbbs.org, become a big. It could go a very long way. The mentor movement has persisted for more than 120 years. Why not be a part of that? With 20 million BBBS alumni worldwide, their stories make up a foundation of big brothers, big sisters, impact, and longevity. Join us in celebrating the stories that have shaped our history and will continue to inspire our tomorrow. Sign up right now at bbbs.org. All right, let's get to the rest of the Sixers on the top 100. Seen the names there in the chat. You can pretty much guess who they are. Derek, let's start at number 54, I believe it is. Let me make sure I have that correct. Once again, it is 54, and that is our good friend of the show. It's Paul George.
Friend of the show. I don't know about that.
Fellow podcast.
I was going to say, don't you have to actually be on the show to be a friend of the show? Or I guess work with us in some capacity.
We'll see after media day if he becomes friend of the show, I suppose.
Fellow podcaster.
Yeah, colleague.
Yeah. Colleague.
Well, I can never say I'm a professional basketball player, so we'll never be colleagues in that regard.
All right.
Look, and I think some people would probably be surprised to see Paul George in this. Some would even say it all, but certainly in the top 50 range. I think it's probably relatively fair. Like, he is still and look, he only played half the games last year. So this is another one where, like, you're probably projecting a little bit more health. But if you took what he did on the floor last year with, let's say, a more reasonable, like 65 games, I think he was a top 50-ish player last year. It's not what you expected when you signed him. It's not what you expected when you gave him that big money. It's not certainly not the guy who can vault you into championship contention or even carry an offense for weeks or months at a time if you need it because of injuries. But I think as a third option, you can be a top 50-ish player playing a second, third option role. I think he kind of did that at times last year. I think his two-way ability helps him in that regard. I think this may be a little bit higher than I was expecting. I was expecting probably somewhere in the 50 to 65 range, though. So I think this is relatively fair if you get reasonable health going forward.
Yeah, like if you look at the guys who are in that range, actually the two players he's immediately surrounded by, right? Dyson Daniels is 55. Mm-hmm. Alex Caruso, 53. They are both heavy defense first players, right? Caruso probably more so, right? Because Daniels is still developing and Caruso kind of is who he is at this point, a offensive role player who might hit the occasional shot, might score in transition, might score off a cut, but is basically like, you just kind of stand there and cut on offense. Right. And defense, you're a big-time playmaker. Dyson Daniels, room for upside and all that, but has made his mark early as a defender, guy at the point of attack.
And being rewarded for being a first-team All-NBA defender, top 3 in the Defensive Player of the Year last year. Yep. So that's being rewarded.
Both of those guys are high-level defenders.
Yes.
And Paul is no longer that caliber of defender, but he is a much more polished offensive player than both of those guys, right? So if you're just looking through the players, they're like Hartenstein at 56, very good, but is a role player. Miles Turner at 57, good two-way player, but again, he's more of a role player than he is someone who's a team-defining guy. And then past that, it's like Trey Murphy, who we think has more upside than 58, but has to prove that, has to stay healthy. Like, this is roughly the range he should be in. When Draymond is at 51, and Draymond has his issues, but he is also still super high-level defender, I don't know that there can be a lot of complaints about where Paul is. I think in theory, Paul should have a much higher ceiling than this, but that would be on a team where maybe he's a top 2 guy rather than a top 3 guy, where he can get all those scoring averages up. He has more time to get into a rhythm. There are more opportunities for him to pad the stats and pad the resume a little bit. I think if he has a solid to good season, this is probably where he's going to end up. And that will be okay as long as Joel Embiid and Maxey are in their respective areas they should be in, right? Because the thesis of the team is Joel and Tyrese both probably have to be top 25 players, right? Where they ultimately fall in those lists and in that hierarchy, we shall see. But that's what it's going to take for this team to win at a high level. And if you have those guys, if you have a guy in the range of like 45 to 60 as your third best player, that's a team that can win a lot of games as long as the rest of your role players are not just complete garbage, or in the Sixers case, too young to, keep up with them.
Last season, Paul George was, after all the excitement of the offseason and the addition to the roster of the Philadelphia 76ers with Embiid and Maxey, he was 21st coming off of an all-star season with the Los Angeles Clippers. So to your point of being a top 2 guy on a playoff team where he was really important, he was 21st. And then coming to Philadelphia, still with the excitement, looking like he was going to be healthy. Seemingly, this team was going to be fighting for another opportunity for Eastern Conference Finals berth for the first time since 2000-2001. We all know that did not happen. So the write-up for him from Tim Bontemps was George's first season in Philadelphia after being the crown jewel free agency saw him play in only 41 games as part of a truly depressing season. In parentheses, has the only positive was 76ers being able to keep their first-round pick. Now, George is recovering from a knee procedure in July that probably will cause him to sit out the start of the season. So still,
and that's the big thing, is the uncertainty with his health.
Still not, we don't know yet, but
at this point, he's a much bigger uncertainty based on the Zapruder film analysis. Paul George is a much bigger uncertainty going into media day and preseason than Joel Embiid is.
Yes.
Certainly
I think we'd all agree on that.
Day one, yes. Like you might
Yeah, I mean, for the whole season, different story. But just going into media day, training camp, preseason, Paul is a much bigger unknown at this stage.
So they're giving fantasy projections as well at the end of these. Kind of in the line of what you guys said. I was saying, could he get back to about 2021? You guys fought back on that when we were discussing it. 18.6 points per game and that 5.4 rebounds and a steal as well for Paul George. So 1.7 steals is their fantasy projection for Paul George. Let's stay with the Sixers and go to the very next one, which is the highest of the group, and that is for one Tyrese Maxey. And Tyrese Maxey is sitting at 28. He is in front of Trae Young,
that's very interesting.
Right behind Karl Anthony Towns. And Tyrese Maxey last season was, as I go back to where he was, 28 last season. Tyrese Maxey
was 19th last year. Trae Young was 37th.
So he drops 9 spots. His projection, maybe bouncing back, 26 points, 6 assists, 1.6 steals. Kyle, 28 sound about right after a 52 appearance as far as the games and the way things dipped with him just being the only one out there.
I struggle with Maxey in these rankings. I actually think him and Trae being back-to-back is really fitting for me because it's a little bit of what do you value as you're making rankings like these, right? Trae has shown a lot more of the ability to just kind of carry an offense,
Absolutely.
Right? And you build an entire offense around him. It's not to say that it's an offense of a team that's winning 50 games or it's like a perennial high-level playoff team, but it's good enough that you can be on the fringes of the playoff picture or just make the playoffs outright. And then you get into, obviously, Trae Young's defense and some of the other stuff is a disaster. And do you care more about the fact that Trae Young can raise the floor for your team Or do you care more that Maxey can raise the ceiling of your team and that he has more of an ability because of his off-ball shooting, because of the movement, the pace, all that, to be a secondary player, right? I don't think Trae Young has shown that ability, right? Like Trae Young's whole thing is you give him the ball and he's the engine. And when they brought in DeJounte Murray to take some stuff off of his plate, it was just a true clash and didn't work, right? And that's why DeJounte Murray gets sent packing and they move on from him. So I think though it feels fair, right? There are not a lot of guys in front of him that I'm like, oh yeah, I would take Maxey over. Like Derek White, I think is probably, he's like a classic. I love Derek White. He's like the role player's role player. Putting him at 26 is a little crazy, right? Like I'd probably drop him below some of these other guys. I would rather have guys that I think could be more of the featured player. Bam Adebayo is a little high for me. He's almost perennially overrated based on what they actually do in Miami. And
it's almost like they don't know what to do with him.
Well, and so Bam Adebayo, when he's playing for like Team USA, is like the ultimate guy, right? Because he doesn't need the ball.
Yeah.
He's the perfect pick and roll guy. He's an incredible, switchable, 5-position defender. But you look at it and it's like he averages like 18 and 10, 18 and 9, 20 and 10, and Miami wins 38 games. And it's like, how is that guy better than like, I don't know, James Harden, who is carrying a playoff team with all kinds of injuries in the Western Conference? How is that guy better than some of these? Like, I don't know. So that one I really struggle with. I don't know that I would put Maxey in front of him specifically, but once you get past about that range, all those names are pretty unimpeachable higher on the list. So I think 28, somewhere in the 25 to 35 range is where Maxey probably is for me.
Yeah, it would be interesting because, right, like with Paul George and Joel Embiid, injuries play a big factor because you're like, all right, well, Joel's a top 10 player when he's on the floor. We have no idea how much that's going to be, so we're going to drop him back because of that. Paul George, to a similar extent, obviously not a top 10 player, but he might have been a top 40 player when he was on the floor, but because we don't know how long he's going to be on the floor, we're going to drop him a little bit. Maybe that's 10, 15 spots, whatever. Tyrese only played like 51 or 52 games last year, but I don't think they're making the same. Like with Joel, you're worried about how those injuries are going to impact this upcoming season. With Paul, you're worried about how those same injuries are going to impact this upcoming season. With Tyrese, I don't think anyone has that kind of a concern, so I don't think injury concerns are going to drop him per se, but I think the injury from last year absolutely impacted his effectiveness last year, especially in the last month or so of the season when he literally couldn't hold a basketball to shoot and his shooting percentages plummeted. So I think part of it, his stats last year took a pretty big step down in terms of just raw efficiency. He only shot 33.7% from three-point range after being a perennial 40+% three-point shooter when James Harden was here. So, I think though that inefficiency and sort of like the, how that influences how you're perceived might be impacting it maybe a little more than it should. So like, it's a little bit like, when, who was it that was 30th? Scotty Barnes. Like, I could end up seeing him actually having a better season this year, despite the fact that they dropped him in the rankings, because I just think he is better set up to succeed this year, especially if there's reasonable health with Joel. But no, like the difference between like 20th and 20, whatever he was this year, was he 28?
8.
I don't get too caught up in a lot of these rankings. Like, is he better than, White or Şengün? Like, certainly not Şengün. I think he's going to have a pretty monster year. Would help if they got somebody who could dribble on that team. But, I think the people ahead of him, I'm not going to nitpick too much, but I do think he's being slept on a little bit because the injuries limited his effectiveness, is I guess where I'm trying to get to.
All right, let's take a final pause here on the show. When we come back, the reveal. It happened this morning. It's all over the place on social media, and we're going to talk about it. Get your thoughts, give our thoughts. See if Kyle is happy with the jerseys. Are they shiny? We'll discuss it.
Thank God they're not.
Right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast, coming to you live from the Xfinity Lounge. And I got to tell you about Bet365, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365 with over 90 million users worldwide. Live streams of 780,000 events each year and early payout offers across the NBA, NHL, and MLB and the NFL. This is the place for you to go. Right now with the MLB early payout offer, Phil had a tough loss last night, need to bounce back altogether. With that, you are a winner if your team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections. Marked as winners. Download the app and use code PHLY365 when you do sign up. And when you do sign up, win or lose, the breaking news, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose, sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Those bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary. At Bet365, must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Our other sponsor here on the show, our good friends from Rothman Orthopedics. Tough news for the Birds. Heard some stuff about Nolan Smith out. I might have to, rehab and, get things right while he's on the IR missing the 4 games. You know what I'm doing? I'm sending them right to my good people at Rothman Orthopedics. So the summer may have gotten to you. Maybe you don't have anything as serious as Nolan Smith with that injury to his triceps, but you need to get it checked out, and that's where Rothman Orthopedics comes in. Well, we've all been there. You got to get it looked at. Proudly serving dozens of communities across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Florida, with 30-plus convenient offices, urgent cares, and walk-in centers, and including Center City, Northeast Philadelphia, and the Navy Yard. Go check them out. Don't let pain slow you down. Visit RothmanOrtho.com to book your appointment today and get back to doing what you love pain-free. Rothman Orthopedics, getting back to what you love, and that's the game, and that's your mission. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast.
I got an email during this break to talk about our friends that I can't discuss on the air, that we will discuss tomorrow, that we are all gonna share a nice hearty laugh tomorrow. I just wanted to.
Let's do that.
I'm trying to hold it together on the set at the absurdity of it, but I'm just teasing tomorrow. There will be a Sixers adjacent, not related, Sixers adjacent announcement that you're going to get a kick out of, that I might yell about a little bit.
Be here for that one tomorrow, 3 p.m., everybody, on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Also, go sign up to become a Supporters Club member. 2 tiers, $4.99, and right now, $14.99. Your membership will get you unique behind-the-scenes footage each week. You'll get to post some of those great emojis that you see right there, true level sicko stuff. You get the SC next to your name. You get access unlike any other, and we appreciate it. Go sign up, Supporters Club at allphly.com. All right, let's get to it. Without further ado, we've been talking about it all season. We've been teasing things.
Finally happened.
We've got shorts on the table. Bria's showing a whole bunch of different things throughout the offseason, and finally, the Philadelphia 76ers, they give it to you.
They did it.
They did it.
The long national nightmare is over.
The worst kept secret in all of professional sports, it returns. Celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Philadelphia 76ers and their run to the NBA Finals. The team is, again, honoring the 2000-2001 squad, and they're bringing back the black jerseys that you've been asking for like 7 seasons. 8 seasons you've been asking for these.
Truthfully, 25 seasons.
25
whenever
seasons.
they stopped
Bring them
wearing
back.
them, all people have wanted is for them to bring them back. So.
All right, so you get them back, and you get the 2025-26 Nike NBA Hardwood Classic Edition. Again, Hardwood Classic Edition. That's what these are right here. The uniforms, as you know, will be worn this season for 14 games, and they are also giving you 6 more games on the road. So everybody, get ready for those. The jerseys will go on sale. They will go on sale on Wednesday, October 15th at 10 a.m. on the team's website at SixersShop.com. And on the 17th, which is a Friday, it's their first preseason game back in the States against the Timberwolves at the arena, 6 p.m. at the arena, at the store, and you can go do your shopping and go get whatever you want to get for the jerseys. I don't know about the like the hoodies and sweatshirts and all that stuff. I don't know when that's going to drop, but for this, you can go and you can check out all that stuff. And what do you think? Since you didn't want the you didn't want the cut off sleeves, you didn't want the shiny.
People always give me grief because I've been a long time critic of these jerseys, and I maintain that the jerseys that they wore in 2001 are heavily overrated. I think they made the exact changes / updates that they needed to, right? It's not that stupid shiny satin material that looks like you're wearing what's his name? What's this SNL skit? The Ladies Man, where he sleeps on a boat.
Oh,
and has the
yes.
You look like you're wearing those.
By the way,
sheets
the
on
shorts
your bed.
that we have are that very material that Kyle is talking about.
So they changed the material to more of like a flat, neutral black, which is great. And they changed the ridiculous wide shoulder to a more modern cut. And they look a lot better as a result. Now, the only thing that they
Michael
could do,
Jordan factor, man.
the only thing they could do to truly improve these will be to strike the crypto.com logo off of there entirely, which I guess they can't if they want to continue to get money from crypto.com.
That is how that works. Yeah.
But
Not everyone can get a
why
no-show
I critique-
advertising deal, Kyle.
I think for the people who wanted these, they're as good as you could have hoped for. They, against all odds, Nike did not decide to do something ridiculous and make drastic changes. So good job all around, everybody.
Do you like since Nike is there and we've gotten accustomed to just the swoosh, any issue with the fact that it's the entire logo there and not just the swoosh?
I mean, it'd probably be a little cleaner with this.
I think it'd be a little cleaner just because of all that's going on, especially on the other side.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt with the spelled out Nike
got-
with the swoosh. Devon has the shirt and the hat with the same logo. So it's not that I dislike the logo. I just think
just
it
the
would look
look.
a little
just the
crisper.
cleaner.
Well, especially because it's like right above the text. So it does look a little busy where it's at. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But the whole point of these jerseys is they are busy. The logo is busy.
But you don't need that.
thing.
But again, like
It's
you
on the
have to have the
shorts.
crypto patch.
It's on
So
the
another
shorts,
one on
too.
the other side doesn't.
The Nike logo is also on the shorts. Derek, what do you think?
No, look, and I've softened
right?
on these. Yeah, I think they did get it right. I have softened on these quite a bit. It probably is mostly the nostalgia kicking in, but I think I think it's a relatively, it's both faithful, and I agree with Kyle. I think they tweaked, and it's a small tweak, like all the things that they did. They've just tweaked it to iteratively improve rather than mess with any kind of nostalgia that you might have.
So
it hits all the right chords and with minor improvements.
Well, when we've talked about this before, and I brought up the fact that when Kyle would speak of this particular jersey, we always talk about the cutoffs with the Michael Jordan was really famous of going, practice. He always has the cutoff Chicago Bulls t-shirt sleeves, and everybody started doing it. Colleges started to do it. The NBA started to do it, and the Sixers got in on it. If you remember where we talk about it, when Larry Hughes and that team, they had these actual jerseys. These are more of the earlier years of, let's say, the 97, 98, 99 jerseys, as to oppose when they switched to the cutoff of the black jerseys in this one. And that's where you kind of saw where it was going to go if Nike decided not to use the cutoff in that way, that they would just simply go back a few years earlier
By the
and
way,
do that one.
We don't need to reverse or rewind the video, but the millisecond Eric Gordon flash was like watching something that is a parody of subliminal messaging. You're like watching some movie and they just flash it on the screen real quick. Eric Gordon made the sizzle reel for maybe a third of a second,
which by the way, if you were setting an over under, a third of a second was definitely over.
Yeah.
Where was Kyle Lowry in this one? I know he has a photo, but I don't know if
I'm sure he's probably over the moon to be wearing these jerseys, right? So good for Uncle Kyle. He gets to wear these this season.
He would have been like a teenager during.
He
that
might
run?
even be able to take the floor wearing these jerseys. We'll see.
All right, before we get Bree's thoughts, Kyle, can you tell us about our survey that we have going on here?
Something. So we want to thank you guys for being part of our community. When you help us, we try to help you. We're always looking to make these shows better and improve and understand how you guys listen and what you value the most. So we've launched a quick survey. Your feedback helps us shape the content that you love or maybe hate, but you just watch anyway. And you can make it even better. It only takes a few minutes. It makes a big impact. Take a moment, go to allphly.com/survey. Let your voice be heard. Anyone who responds has a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. It's that easy. It'll take a few minutes. We appreciate you. allphly.com/survey. And look at that. Get yourself, hopefully, an Amazon gift card for $100 just for telling us what you think of the show and what we could do better or what we're already doing well. That's all we ask.
All right, welcome back. We really appreciate that. Bree, we cannot do this conversation. We've gotten your thoughts all off season about this. What do you think about what the Sixers have done with the jerseys?
I love them, and I'm definitely getting one.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, so we did the poll the other day, Bree, asking whose jersey it would be. Whose are you getting?
I don't know.
Or at least who's in the consideration?
I already have a Maxey one, so I don't want to repeat.
Ooh, I think I know where she's going with this one.
Yeah, it would have to be one of the rookies, right? Yeah, it would have to be. I would love a PG jersey just because I don't have one, but I don't want to do all that.
That's controversial, though.
I love PG, but yeah, it would probably be one of the rookies or one of the younger guys.
Yeah, so when we've talked about this of who would look right in the jerseys, who could pull this off, I think everybody looks pretty good in the. Kelly Oubre looks solid in it, and Edgecombe. You talked about the 77 looking a little bit.
I do think, and Hedfa said it in the chat as well, that the 77, she was pro 77 previously. I am still kind of out on 77, but I think on these jerseys, when you see the back of the jersey in particular, the 77 has a certain aura to it. So I'm open to changing my mind, is what I would say.
I think we're just gonna get used to it because he's gonna play the full season in it, and it's just gonna be fine, 77 and all that. It was whatever. I'm still
the numbers guy's drawing his line in the sand.
He'd look fine in 7 too.
Yeah, but he's got to wait a year for that one. But it's fine. I mean, he looks good in the jersey in general, but the 77 overall. By the way, Bree throws it up there. The PHLY locker, everybody. We have our shirts honoring the throwback of the jerseys and the 25th anniversary. So go get them in multicolors. We got them from red to blue, the black, the spectrums with the orange, also blue, red, black as well. Go to the PHLYlocker.com. Go get yours. Add to the collection. All right? Add to the collection. Get ours, put it in the rotation. You got 14 games this season that they're going to wear them at the arena. Maybe you want to switch it up a little bit, and you can represent our show by wearing the throwback.
While we're still on this subject, Bree, can we pull up what somebody found as an Easter egg within the photo shoot?
By the way, I love the presentation that the Sixers did with the court. The hanging of the jerseys on the fence.
The old film shots, too. Was pretty cool.
Can we not call something from the early 2000s old?
Nobody uses film anymore. No one's going to dark rooms.
All right. Let me see.
So someone pointed out they really did Jared McCain dirty with the 2.5 pound bench press weights in the photo. The good thing is, everyone knows and can see, like, Jared keeps himself in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
He's not someone that's skipping his days in the weight room. But it's like nobody thought to look at the weight that was next to him, sitting him down on a bench and say, hey, maybe we should just get that out of there entirely, or at least make it look like it's something that he would lift, right? I can't imagine Jared McCain is doing like a
50-pound bench press, yeah.
Meanwhile, there are plates on the actual bench right there with them. That is funny. Good pull by them, because I did not see that earlier. I did not see that.
Yeah, I was paying attention to other things, but then once you introduce something to a mass audience, it's always a eye of the beholder situation. And a few people happen to see, hey, Jared, you might want to increase the weight, buddy. You'll be in even better shape. So I got a kick out of that one.
That was pretty good. That was definitely pretty good. But again, everybody, they will be on sale on the 15th of October, and that will be at Sixershop.com. And then in the arena on the 17th for their preseason game once they return back to the States and have an opportunity in the arena before the game, during the game, after the game, whatever you need to do. Go buy them on the concourse, in the shops, at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. You can go and get whatever you need. So interesting overall. I like what they did. I think they did it right, and I'm curious to see now what they do with the presentation when they bring guys back, when they come back into town, what they'll do in the arena of the giveaways that they give to the fans and all. I'm very curious to see what they do come up with. We see Iverson a lot, but what are they going to do there? And I think Iverson's jersey is going to do pretty well once again. I know Mitchell and Ness has put out theirs. They've done that in the past, but for the Sixer fans to be able to buy them once again and have maybe more of a just stock overall of being able to get his jersey, I think a lot of people will go, in fact, and do that.
So I cannot listen to
and
this.
The shorts, I think
this is semi-breaking news, gray area.
I saw it. I didn't.
So
put it in text, Shams.
I'm just telling you guys, we haven't actually listened to this clip yet, but Shams was just on NBA Today on ESPN and has reported that Grimes taking the qualifying offer is in play. And he will not be at Media Day or in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, and he also says, and again, this is aggregated by somebody else, that they are still very far apart.
Okay. Well, we didn't think he was going to be there on Friday anyway, just because. But
Friday we didn't think.
Yeah, Friday we didn't think.
Inside baseball, internally, we have all believed that what would happen was that the team would practice this Sunday. They would take their flight to Abu Dhabi, and in the middle of Eagles-Bucks on Sunday, we would get the news dump that Quentin Grimes did whatever, signed a deal, took the qualifying
offer. Score 17-17
because we operate
quarter.
Under the belief that the Sixers will always do the thing that is most annoying for the people covering the team.
Yeah.
But that's the latest from Shams. Obviously, we'll continue following up on the story as we have been all off season, but
this kind of puts him behind, man, with those young guys right there. I don't know how this helps.
We've been having this conversation now for weeks, right? Where if you do take the qualifying offer, I'm not saying that Nick Nurse is going to go in and say, if Grimes is playing the best out of all these guards that are not named Maxey, he'll sit on the bench more. But I do think organizationally, you're daring the Sixers to say, we'll just play the young guys, right?
Yeah.
Like you're daring them to say, you're leaving after next year. You've made it very clear all you want is that path to unrestricted free agency. And that's fine, right? Maybe you're just so good this year, and maybe there is a team next summer that gives you exactly what you want. But if you're looking at it from the Sixers perspective, it's like, okay, it's fair for you to believe that. We now have to look at it. Like we already have a number 3 overall pick to develop. We already have Jared McCain coming off a very successful quarter of a season that he played last year that looks like he deserves a lot of time and opportunity. Why are we going to carve out an outsized role for you is what the conversation becomes. So I think the fact that they are still as far apart as they seem to be is not a great sign for either side, but I don't really understand his end game.
I don't.
Here.
I do not.
I do not. Because
I do not. I know you look at what happened. You look at what you did in that second half of the season when everybody was down. Played really well, so you know that your number has increased. I'd imagine they increased it too. But for him to believe that something is going to change from when free agency got underway in early July to where we are right now on September 24th and think that's going to change as we get closer to Media Day and them leaving for their preseason game and games in Abu Dhabi. Look, this could get done before then. Things could change in the next 48 hours.
They could, but
what would the catalyst in a long time?
And I mean that has to come from his side and not necessarily their side, where I really don't get it. I don't get it.
And again, because I think it was Brian Knight in the chat saying he's a trade piece now. Again, if he signs a qualifying offer, he has an implied no trade clause. But even more importantly than that, even if he waives that no trade, he loses his bird rights. So the acquiring team isn't going to value him all that highly because they're not going to have, with non-bird rights, you can get like a 20% raise over the previous year. They're not going to have the ability to give him the contract he wants if he plays under this, if he plays under the qualifying offer. Honestly, the best path for both teams might just be like give him like a 1 year, like a $15 million contract, something like that. So that then you can, and get him to waive the no trade clause ahead of time.
So I believe that is part of Shams' reporting is that it's on the table that he could get a bigger 1 year deal and waive the no trade clause.
But I think it's not just like a couple million. Like I think you want to give him 15 to 20 million for 1 year. So that way a team can look at him not only as a rental, but because they can use his now non-bird rights to give him a sizable contract next summer, that would have more value in a trade. You will enhance him as a trade chip if you spend more money for this year. The question is, does Josh Harris care about a trade chip when it might cost him the luxury tax?
So because the Kuminga situation is also outstanding, right? I do think, as I've thought about this, and we've had nearly 3 months to think about it, so I've had plenty of time to deliberate on all this. I don't really understand taking the same position as Kuminga because at least in his case, he can credibly say whatever you think of him, and I'm not Kuminga's biggest fan, but he can say like, look, I was thrown into as a very young player, a team with championship expectations. I haven't always gotten the opportunities. And a lot of what he is telling you is that it's not as much about the money as it is money combined with opportunity. I don't know what Quentin Grimes' end game is.
I don't
here, right? And the other part of that is that Quentin Grimes, unlike Kuminga, and I've said I personally, individually, do not really care about the whole, he's played on 4 teams in 4 years. But when that is your reality, right? And there are people around the league and fans, whoever, thinking about Quentin Grimes, who look at that and say, what's wrong with this guy? Like, what's the intel on this guy that someone who is a very good 3-and-D player who we saw has the capability to scale up more, why hasn't he stuck somewhere? Why isn't he, a team's not investing in his future the way it seems like maybe they should from the outside? If you then take the qualifying offer, when nothing we've heard has suggested the Sixers are like, take like the taxpayer MLE or go scratch, right? Like I from what we understand, they're offering something fair, just not close to what he wants. I think you're not just running the risk of being squeezed out because the Sixers have less incentive to play you. You're playing into a reputation that one of the goals of this summer and the last year should have been to push to the side, right? Like, I'm the good soldier, I'm this, I'm that. And that's why I should make X amount of money. So other than just the fact that he wants a lot of money, and look, I get it. You're in negotiations and free agency. Ask for what you want. I have not understood the strategy here basically at all.
Yeah, I don't get this one.
I just don't think he's getting that $25 million a year next year. I think he's gambling on a future outcome that just isn't there.
But. And to that point, either this balloon payment, like you guys talked about, similar, not as high as JJ Redick's because I think JJ's was in the 20s. But,
well, and that was at a time when the salary cap was like 75% of what it is now.
Right. So with that one, or the 2+1 that you guys were talking about, where he can get back out there a lot sooner and play on a contending team potentially here, play a big role on a contending team and earn that money. And because what he did last season, to Kyle's point of the reputation and all these different teams, I don't care about that either. But what people might say is he also did that on a 24-win team where he was able to get all the shots that he wanted on a team that wasn't going anywhere. And he surprised a lot of people. Many people knew he could score, maybe not at the level that he did, how efficient he was in many of those games, getting to 40 points quite a few times. But for this to play out the way that it is, get your money, man. You bet on yourself, and I think you've won. I don't know that he's going to do that again. We're going to overtime, everybody. Thank you on the television side. Head over to allphly.com to finish this conversation on Quentin Grimes and our news and notes. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m.
I wonder if part of his calculus here is that he knows the Sixers don't want him on that qualifying offer. So maybe he knows that, hey, my fallback plan isn't actually the qualifying offer. It's a 1 year, $12 million deal. It's a 1 year, $15 million deal. I wonder if he realizes that the $8.7 million qualifying offer isn't actually likely. Because again, with the reasons we talked about with the trade chip, like you really want to give him that 1 year balloon payment.
I'm just going to keep wish casting a Tari Eason trade for Hedfa and some of our other diehard Tari Eason fans in the chat.
That would be a nice addition to the basketball team. Then we wouldn't be talking about the four.
Oh, you want to talk about a power forward?
We wouldn't be talking about the four anymore. He's got his issues,
but he's coming through.
Yes, he is.
Bulldozing people at power forward.
Rebounding, got you covered right there at that 4 spot. All right, everybody, we're just going to run this news and notes. This will take long enough where you can have 3 news and notes. Yesterday in news and notes at the end of the show, we talked about what's going on and, out there with Sharif Cooper's getting a new gig with the Washington Wizards. Sharif Cooper gets a gig with the 2-way contract with the Washington Wizards.
Put on Blueprint too, Bree.
After we had a good laugh, good conversation, Derek sends us a message late last night. And Derek, what did it say with the message that came through from one? Look at this.
Come on, man.
Great job, Bree.
Come on,
Great job, Bree. Ace Bailey.
Oh, another Jay-Z quote, grand opening, grand closing.
So what was this? Tony Jones from The Athletic?
Yes. Yep.
Tony Jones from The Athletic reported last night, somewhere like the 9 o'clock hours, if I remember correctly, that now Ace Bailey is parting ways with agent Omar Cooper and is looking currently for new representation. Let's talk about a draft process, man, that got way out of whack. A few months too late?
Yeah, and look, even if you go back to our shows at the time of the draft and the pre-draft process, we all said, like, hey, it seems like he's getting some very bad advice.
That picture,
that is too good. That is too good.
We all said it.
Why do you look like Kevin Hart standing next to Shaq underneath Ace Bailey's?
Hashtag it's a lifestyle.
Go ahead,
It's just it seemed very obvious he was getting bad advice, and Omar was the one. Seemed like it was pushing that. It's a weird time to. I guess you still want like an experienced agent because you want to go out there and get endorsement deals and whatnot. But like the heavy lifting of an agent's job is over. Like you have to now live with the consequences of your previous representation. I wish you had gotten this, 6 months ago, a year ago. But
this is again following Mark Stein's report on Monday night that, the things that we talked about, and Kyle had pointed it out early at one point, that he was kind of targeting Washington and the Wizards. And with it, Utah said, you know what? We got something for you. We're taking you at pick number 5. Therefore, it's no Washington. Whatever he thought he was going to have, whatever green light he thought he may have had in Washington, this is a totally different structure in Utah, not only with Danny Ainge, but Hardy is a really good young coach. And they're trying to do some things and build and develop their young players. Not that Washington isn't, but here we are where it's Monday and then it's Tuesday. Media day is about to get started, training camp. And he's like,
I can't even talk because I'm just like, Win Forever in the chat said, Omar Cooper got his son a job. Ace said, you fired. So I will say, I give credit.
By
to
the way,
Ace
did get top 5 pick money, so he still got that.
No, he can keep that watch. You're good.
I give Ace some
Show
credit,
the watch, Omar.
and I give the people around Ace some credit for look, because this is someone he's known for a long, long time, right? This is beyond a normal player-agent relationship, so it's difficult in that spot when you've asked that person to advise you in an important moment of your life to, as you're facing pressure from the outside, recognize that you're in a bad spot and that you need to go to someone else, right? So I frankly commend him for, whether it's him or whether it's people around him, for saying look, man, get yourself some real professional representation. That's a tough thing to do. And when we talked about Ace all throughout the draft process, it was never Ace is a bad kid. It was never, he's dumb, he's this, he's that. It was, hey, this is just like, we don't trust the decision making, right? So I'll just say it. One of the best decisions in the decision making process that we've seen from Ace Bailey. So hopefully this is a nice fresh start for all parties involved, and he has a nice fruitful career in Utah.
You are right about that, because there are things where you get to a spot like this and things can get worse. He doesn't like it. They start playing. He's not getting enough time. Mm-hmm. He requests a trade at some point, and Omar Cooper is the one that's the agent trying to get him out of there, and no one's respecting the agent.
Yep.
It took them too long, but they got it done before it was too late. He's just starting his career. Nike was already in play anyway, so he didn't do that. That was already happening. So now it's just a matter of, can he get in there, focus on basketball, get his new representation, focus on basketball, play some good brand of basketball, and see where the chips fall from there, and just go out there and just hoop. And that
now, if Ace comes out and it's like, I'm choosing to represent myself, I reserve the right to go right back and criticize him. But for this, I think it's honestly a much harder decision than I think people probably think about on paper because of the whole family history thing. You just think about being 18, 19, someone who helped you get to this stage that you look to as a mentor. It's hard to go to that person, look them in the eye and say, you're not looking out for me. I don't want to associate with you anymore. So I think that tells me something about Ace that I actually really like. So good for him.
Joaquin says, thankful for Omar Cooper for helping us draft VJ Edgecombe, the right guy.
That's right.
So there you go.
Well, Trey, but VJ also the right guy.
Yeah. I can't wait to find out, if we do find out, what was it the one thing, if it was one or multiple things that made him finally make this decision to move on from Omar Cooper. I am very curious to see how that plays out. All right.
I do wonder, because you said yesterday that there was reporting from Stein
on Monday
that there was actual conversations about like trying to force his way off of Utah. I wonder if maybe
he was going to hold out.
Holding out. I wonder
if
this helps mend that relationship. He can be like, hey, that was Omar's thing. Like, we're moving beyond that. I wonder if maybe the timing, this just helps, move on from that.
And even with somebody like Danny Ainge, where we were like, Danny Ainge and the other Ainge coming in, his kid, they're like, yeah, this is a little bit different. We're not doing things like we used to do. That owner is very upbeat and involved and all, and it was just too much, and it couldn't get it done. So
happy trails to Omar Cooper.
Where's darkness when you need him? Yeah.
He was in here earlier.
That's darkness.
He was in here earlier.
Yeah, because you turn the lights out. Omar Cooper.
Turn the lights down on, as Jay-Z would say, the basketball version of TD Jakes. Just going to try to make as many Blueprint 2 references as possible.
All right, let's get to it. The black jerseys are back. Everybody's happy, except for we're developing story, of course, with Quentin Grimes. Conversation about the top 100. It's all happening. Media Day in 2 days. We're presented by Xfinity and Ford. Thank you very much. It's time for the world famous. It's the roll call.
I want to see our supporters club members hitting those roll call emojis in the chat.
Oh, man.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Very lively and fun show. We only got 2 days, well, less than 2 days now. About a day and a half until Media Day on Friday. We are all very excited for that.
Get ready.
Hope you're excited too. I'm seeing
content from everywhere.
I'm seeing some faces and names in here I haven't seen in a while.
We mentioned Ace once, and Densley is back.
He said, Densley said, now get Ace on the Sixers, buddy. I think that ship has sailed. Maybe maybe when he gets to restricted free agency, we'll have that conversation in 4 years or so. But thank you to Densley for being here. Thank you to Mom's grandchildren. What's up to Mom?
Hello, Mom.
Thank you to Release the Yams, a new name for Yams.
I love it.
Thank you to my girl Nona.
Hey,
thank
Nona.
you to Tom Jackson, to Hinky, to Nikki Roll,
what
to
up, Nikki?
Jay of the Jungle. Here's another funny autocorrect. I know I typed out Ramid and then I corrected the autocorrect, but when I first put in Ramid's name, it corrected to all caps rammed for some reason. So thank you to Ramid or
Mid?
rammed.
Your
whichever
autocorrect
you'd
is
prefer.
diabolical,
The
man.
autocorrect is out of control. It's just, at least they're funny ones. Thank you to DJ, a.k.a. Mr. Sandman. Thank you to our guy, Al, the 2-minute warning.
What up, Al?
Thank you to Jesse Bond, to Marty Bones, to Dunkel
Oh,
Nabel.
don't go in the bell.
Thank you to Say What?
Say what? Quentin
SB
Grimes,
Cole.
what's going on?
Thank you to the Ad Joe Bros or the AD Joe Bros or either way. Thank you for being here.
Bree Win Forever says, show Omar Cooper again doing roll call. We need to see it.
Thank you to Omar Cooper for providing show content. Once again, thank you to Win Forever. Thank you to Sean Havern. Thank
Put
you
it on
to
the shirt, man.
Thank you to Hedva, Keith B, Brian Knight, Eugene Ross,
B-Knight.
Val, Jess, Marcus Blackstock,
What up,
Eugene
Mark?
O'Neill, another Eugene today,
Yeah.
who did not like the length of my shorts, but I'm still here. I'm a man. I'm 35. You got to deal with me.
Oh, you're talking about
even if Mike
turn the
Gundy's
lights
out of
down.
here, I'm
Exactly.
still here.
Mike Gundy, turn the lights down.
Thank you to Dave P. Thank you to Music Lover 31. And shout out to Ace Bailey to end the show. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We'll be here again tomorrow at 3 p.m.
It's
Until
right
then,
here, Al.
hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live. And hit that thumbs up button to say thank you, Omar Cooper, but also thank you, super producer Bree, for holding it down
Thank
as
you to
always.
the Sixers for bringing back the black jerseys.
Thank you to the Sixers. No thank you to Chris Heck for Boathouse Row jerseys.
Not the wrong black jerseys.
Turn the lights down on Chris Heck.
Oh, man.
And New Philadelphia. Maybe the newer Philadelphia jerseys will be the City Connects. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. The final pre-media day show. And then there are practices, preseason games, flights to Abu Dhabi.
Content.
Nonsense, press conferences,
Content
interviews.
day tomorrow.
We got
Friday,
everything.
Friday.
So we do still have to do one more of these shows until then. But guys, take care. Stay safe. Take care of one another. Goodbye.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.